Hello, Ranger Nation. I'm Todd Jones coming to you from the Greenwood Sports Studio for the latest edition of the Ranger Rundown on the Greenwood Sports Network. It's all track all day on this episode of Ranger Rundown. We'll wrap up the season with Coach Thomas and Coach Burchett. We'll also talk to state qualifiers Tristan Wilson, Dylan Payton, Todd Box, Nathaniel Romero, Kason Brooks, and Caden Alford. So stop looking at that yard that needs to be mowed because it's Ranger Rundown time. All right, sitting next to me, I've got the Coach Thomas. Coach, how are you doing
He
today?
gave me a thumbs up. I'm doing pretty good. Let me see if I get to do it again. Come on, give it. Yeah, there it is. Doing pretty good. It's been a fun ride, man. I hate that I don't get to take a few kids to state, but at the same time, man, I'm so proud of those boys and all the work they put in. Coach Burchett and those guys have been working their tail off, and so. I mean, I'm gonna be there in Austin. I'm excited. I'll be rooting with the rest of the crowd, and it's gonna be fun.
Well, you know, and I know that we have two separate programs. We have girls track, boys track, but I know that the coaches are all invested, you know, in each other.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the athletes. You have two different teams, but you know, when you go to those track meets and stuff, you know, the girls are as much a part of the boys team as the boys are, you know, the girls team as far as that, you know, camaraderie and sharing of, you know. Accomplishments and things like that.
No, for sure. And you know, with Coach Burchett, he's been doing this a little bit longer than me, and so I lean on him a lot for, you know, advice and stuff like that. And he's been really helpful over the years, and so I'm really excited to see what he's been able to accomplish with this crew. And he's got more years ahead of him with these guys, and I'm telling you, it's been a great ride this year. But oh man, the next few years, y'all need to get into some track because it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, so as you mentioned some of your thoughts on the future, let's talk a little bit about your thoughts on, you know, this season and some of the things that your girls track program was able to accomplish.
Grace Franks, one of my seniors, did an outstanding job with our sprints. You know, she's been pretty vital to our relays and everything the last few years, and I think I said it the last episode, but being her senior year, I wanted to give her the opportunity to kind of represent herself and kind of put her name on the map. And so we put her in the open events. And every week she got better. Every week she PR'd. And it wound her up all the way to regionals, regional finals in the 100. And so just couldn't be more proud of how she ended her career here at Greenwood. Presley Watzel has been just an absolute stud for us for years. You know, she made a name for herself in hurdles, had a pretty bad fall last year and wanted to shy away from that a little bit, and so she made up for it with jumps this year, which she had just gotten into a little bit last year, but really kind of represented our team on the field event side of things. Like, she was the stud. She was the one that brought in all our points on the field events, and so really excited for the season that she had. You know, we have Jackson Heiser is one of our hurdlers, and as far as the potential she showed at the beginning of the season, I think everybody around knows that she's just a moment away from being just outstanding. She had an injury really early on in the season, and she was able to kind of finish out, but just was never able to get back to form. And I think that moving forward, she's going to be someone to keep an eye on for sure. May Savage and Alyssa Barron, we've talked about them nearly every week and the great things that they've been doing coming up as freshmen. And, you know, honestly, being leaders for the team, not vocal leaders, not the go rah-rah yell in your face leader, but just lead by example. You know, always never taking a rep off in practice, always being there on time, staying late, doing all the work, and then, you know, leaving it all on the track at the end of the day. So they've done an outstanding job. Angel Smith, another freshman, showed up with our throws, did a fantastic job. We're one of the most competitive districts in the state when it comes to throws. And so she didn't quite make it to area, but she would have won the other area. Like that's how competitive our district is. And I think she's going to be a part of that conversation moving forward. The other thing I have to shout out is the staff that I had with me. This year, I just felt like our coaches were super invested in it. Across the board, everybody cared about every event. I'm telling you, the staff that we had this year was engaged at every level. You know, our jumping coach wanted to know how our throwers did. Our throwers were asking about the pole vault. You know, it was all together as one. Everybody was super fired up. That was Coach Chandler was my throwing coach. She's leaving next year. I'm pretty bummed about it, but she's got some big things going on in her life, so I'm really excited for her and the way her career's moving up. And Coach Soaringhawk helped us with our pole vaulters.
It's a great name for a pole vault coach.
Is it not?
It
and
is,
and
yes.
He's got a kid coming up that's pretty darn good. So
There's no other event that you could coach and track with that last name.
I'm telling you, he's gonna be a big part of the future. His son and Coach Soaringhawk. I mean, they're already pole vaulting for next year. They're already out there working. So I mean, he's doing awesome stuff for us. Coach Martin was doing our high jump again this year. Coach Niblett was a new coach that moved in. She's one of my younger coaches, and she didn't know anything about long distance, but I asked her to do it. She filled in right away. She learned everything. The girls love her, and I think that's a huge part of the success we've had there is that the relationships that she's built. Coach Thompson, Greenwood grad, brought all of her experience. You know, she went to state when she was here.
High jump, right?
Mm-hmm. And she brought all that experience with her and really built those girls up. And I'm telling you, Niblett and Thompson were kind of my secret weapon with the girls because they were young and funny, and the girls gravitated towards them. To the point when we were at regionals, you know, we went to main event, let the girls have some fun, and they were running around with Niblett and Thompson, and me and Coach Martin were like, we need to get out of here. Like, we're too old to be a part of this crowd. We tried to do laser tag, it didn't go well. And then,
well, I bet it went better for one of the two of you than it did for the other one. We're not going to name any names.
Yeah, I went after Martin. I knew I had a leg up on him, but that was everybody else. I think we all beat Thompson because her vest was broken, so that helped. And then lastly, I have Coach Saavedra, who was our hurdle coach, and really she was kind of my sounding board. So, you know, if you know anything about me during track season, is all I'm ever thinking about is track and our entries and who needs to be where and how we can get better in different places. And so Saavedra really put up with me a lot as far as me bouncing ideas off of her all the time. And so, I mean, that staff right there, I could not be happier with working with all those people and how much they cared about the program, how much they cared about all the girls. And, you know, I think the girls saw it too. I think it's hard for those girls not to notice when you have a group of coaches that actually care about, you know, what's going on the track. And you know, not every school has that. And we had that at Greenwood. And so I was really pleased with that this year.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of truth to that. So, you know, let's talk. You know, you had a really good year, Coach. I know you don't have anybody going to state. Of course, last year you had one going, and you know, Coach Burchett had to, you know, kind of be a part of that kind of deal. And now you're kind of getting to do the same thing back to him. But while you don't have anybody heading to state this year, you know, you did have a really successful year, and you know, there were a handful of school records broken this year. You want to talk a little bit about, you know, those kids that were able to put their name on that school board?
Yeah. May Savage, she broke 2 records this year. The first was the 800, and she actually broke it the first time here at home. The official time was a broken record by a 100th of a second. The time that was posted that night tied the record. It wasn't until we went back and double checked that we realized that she had actually broken it, but we didn't tell her. We kept that a secret, and then she absolutely demolished it by district. And then, you know, Alyssa Barron would have broken the same record because she runs right there with May, and they really push each other to be better. And then May broke the mile record at the San Angelo Relays, which was really exciting. And, you know, she just had a great year. I think that she really enjoyed it. It's to me, the records are really cool, but the fact that she did it while being a multi-sport athlete is huge, because I mean, you know, with your daughter, it's a lot of scheduling and figuring out where can I get the work in here, get the work in here. She was able to make that balance, and not only make that balance, but do it so successfully that she did it better than anybody before. And so I'm really excited for her. She's a great kid and deserves all the success. And hey, we got 3 more years coming, so
Yeah.
I'm excited.
So, Coach, I don't want to put you at odds with anybody here watching it, anybody you coach or anything, but I got to ask you, what's your favorite track event and why?
I'll tell people all the time: 300 hurdles, 4x4, and because those are gut check races. The 300 hurdles, I say all the time, you can be a stud athlete. Dylan Payton is a stud athlete, and when you're a stud athlete in the 300 hurdles and you're tough, you go to state. But you can have kids that aren't born that stud athlete that are just tough, and they can use that toughness to have success in that race. And as a coach, that's fun to watch. When you have that kid that, he can't win the 200, he can't win the 100, but he's going to be tougher than you. You could put him in the 300 hurdles, and he's going to have success. Now, when you take a kid like Dylan that will win the 200, and you put him in there, now you're something special.
You get a really, really good time, right?
Oh, no doubt. And so I love that race. It's one of my favorites. So I'm really excited to be able to watch a Greenwood kid compete in my favorite race.
Well, I'm glad you didn't shy away from that question.
No, absolutely not. And then the 4x4, which is my other one, we have a crew going on that one too. So I'm super excited to watch that. And that's, everybody loves relays because the team and the camaraderie. But then you throw in the fact that they're running 400s, which is difficult to do. It's the finale of the track meet. It's exciting. Everyone's engaged. I mean,
well, and that's another gut check race because it is the last event. And when you look at schools like us, we're maxing our kids out in events. So when that last race comes around, you've poured a 10-hour day, an 8-hour day into it, and it's a gut check time to come up and be able to compete in that event.
Yeah, it's fun to watch, to talk to the kids about it because, the love and hate relationship, because it hurts. That race, if you're doing it right, that race should hurt. But it's almost easy to do because you've got teammates relying on you, so you're willing to put that pain in. And it's just fun to watch. It's exciting, and I love it. I could watch 4x4 all day. So the fact that the 300 hurdles and the 4x4 are two of the events that I get to watch at state with Greenwood kids in it. Couldn't ask for more. I'm excited.
Go. So, Coach, you mentioned some names of some young athletes that are going through your program right now. And, we've seen those names, through social media, different stuff like that. I want to give you an opportunity to give us a couple of names of girls that we might not have heard yet that you expect to impact your program going forward.
It's a good question. I do have some youth. There's probably several girls I could rattle off that could to meet that criteria, but I think that one that stands out to me is Clara Aranda on the JV. She has great foot speed. She has a lot of tools, and she was one of those that she could come up on the varsity, or she could stay down and just have a lot of success. So we kept her down, and she had a lot of success. But I do think that moving into the future, she's one of those that's going to potentially be, a big part of what we're trying to accomplish. I am trying to negotiate her to be one of those 300 hurdlers that I was talking about. So I don't know if she'll agree to it yet, but I'm working on it every day. So we'll see. And then the other one, I have an 8th grader coming up, Addison Adame, who, she does awesome stuff at the middle school, and that middle school program has had a lot of success. But some of the times that she has put up has really caught some attention, and even as a 7th grader has caught some attention. And so I'm really excited to see her come up and see what she can do. She's going to be another multi-sport athlete. I get to share her with soccer, and so I think she's going to be able to help us in multiple fronts. But I do think that if she continues to work and do the right things, I think she's going to be a big part of the future here.
All right, cool. What message do you have for the seniors leaving your program, Coach?
I had 4 seniors this year that kind of stuck it out for me. The first is Mackenzie De La Rosa. She ran for me as a freshman, and then the soccer program got started, and that's her first love. So she left me for 2 years to go do some soccer stuff. Then she ran cross country with Coach White because Coach White took over our cross country program, and Coach White was able to convince her to come run for me when she could. And, she was great to have around. She, was super competitive and was really a joy to watch run. When soccer made their crazy run there at the end, she had to opt to go and drive all the way to El Paso the day of district, which, it's hard to complain when you're having that kind of success. So, I was just happy that I had her the time that I had her. Maria Valenzuela has been a distance runner for me since she was a freshman, and again, just one of the smartest kids I've ever been around. Works her tail off. Always willing to do whatever you asked her, even if she wasn't happy about it. And just a great leader for us to have over there with those distance kids, because we had a lot of youth over there this year, and she was kind of able to hold that down and kind of be someone to look up to. Presley Watzel, like I said, was for 4 years has been someone that consistently got us points, starting with the hurdles but ending with those jumps. And, she did relays for me, and so it was really an honor to have the 4 years that I had with her, and just really happy that she got to end the year with some success, and she did just great things this year. And then Grace Franks, Grace Franks has been a runner for me for all 4 years that I've been a head coach. She came in her freshman year when I first took the job, and has just been a constant for me on the track. And I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know how I'm going to get on without her. I love her. She was awesome, and really, really happy for her with all the success she had. MRT Athlete of the Week, all of those things. Just a great kid, and going to be super successful in whatever she does. She's going to make more money than all of us, and I will be a brief memory for her, but just really an honor to be able to have coached her. So
good stuff, Coach. Before we got started, you kind of mentioned this is going to be our first time together on the screen. It seems like we've been partners in crime for a while now, and the first time that we get to kind of sit down together. So it's kind of a good deal, right?
No doubt.
All right. Coach, I appreciate your time, and I know we say this, but you have been instrumental in putting this whole program together and letting us get this message out to the community. And so while I've got you up here, thanks for being up here early, getting stuff set out, making me look as good as I can, which is a tough gig to do. So I appreciate that, and appreciate you coming out here and sharing with us a little bit.
Of course, as well as I do, it's been fun.
Yeah, it's been a blast. Next up, we got Coach Burchett. He's going to talk a little bit about the boys track and the guys going with the state. So stick with us.
Teachers and educators, we want you to be a part of Greenwood ISD. If you join us, we can offer you competitive teacher salaries, a new 4-day work week, paid health insurance, and a fully funded health savings account, stipends for teaching in areas of high need and tested subjects, scholarships and classroom grants available through the Greenwood Education Foundation. So scan the QR code below to apply today and become a Ranger.
To my left is the head boys track coach, Brian Burchett. Coach, we really appreciate your time and coming in and talk to us.
Thanks for having me here.
All right, so the long season's kind of coming to the end. You've coached as long as a track coach can coach, right?
Yes, sir. That's very fortunate.
Coach, what are some things that happened this year that just really stand out to you when you think back on the season?
Oh man. Okay, so we have survived some wild things, injuries. The guys that are going to state, a lot of them have injuries that you wouldn't be able to perform through, and they've done it. They've done it well, and so it's tribute to hard work and dedication.
Yeah.
So, yes, sir.
Yeah, that's one of the things that Greenwood kind of always had that reputation of is they were going to compete, and they were tough kids.
Tough, very tough.
So
good-looking, tough kids.
Yeah. So how do you feel about the team as a whole this year?
The whole team, we were young, hardworking, had guys that just diligent and dedicated to the cause of the team, and willing to do whatever it took to win, and selfless, lots of selfless kids that are not selfish, and kids that they want to see the other guys on the team do well.
Uh-huh.
And so it's been a great year, honestly.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
cool.
sir.
So you talked a little bit about some of the adversity that some of your athletes went through. Share some thoughts on the group of kids that you're going to take to Austin this weekend.
Well, start with, you got Tristan, right? Tristan is got a great story, and he's a cancer survivor, and
Yeah.
and a tough kid, and then the group of guys that are running on the relay. Dylan Payton, he had a pretty severe shoulder injury during football, and so he fought through that. Ty Box has a right now he has a partially torn PCL, and so he kind of runs funny, but he's run really well this year, and then.
I thought he just got that from his dad.
Yeah, no, he was a little smoother before he had that, but I think one day it's just gonna all come back together for him. Nathaniel Romero has a Liz Frank injury in his foot.
Right, that's from football also.
Right, it is, and so he has a screw in his foot, and it's kind of a good story for him. He had surgery scheduled for like the week before we were gonna go run at the district meet, and as the season progressed, he started thinking about maybe moving that surgery back so that he could finish the track season out. And he asked me what I thought, and I told him that it was really up to him. He visited with Coach Hill for a little bit, and then he visited with his parents, and he ended up moving his foot surgery to get that screw removed back until after the state track meet. And so he's been dealing with that. So he has a screw in his foot, and so he's running with the screw in his foot. So that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Those are all good stories. Was there any like one or two moments, from this season that you think is going to stick with you for a while? Whether it's some kids' accomplishments or something happened. I know as a coach, you see a lot of things that just kind of warm your heart as you get through the season. But is there something that maybe from this season you're going to take with you going forward?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Well, the first thing is Landon Underwood. He's been with me for a few years, and he's a wheelchair athlete, and so to see the end of his career here at Greenwood as a wheelchair athlete, that was tough. And the day he had at regionals, he got pretty emotional about that at regionals, and it was tough on me. And I love Landon. He's a great kid, and so I'm happy to see whatever he goes on to do in life. I think he's going to have great success in all the things that he tries to do. He has a great work ethic, and then there's been a lot of other things, but the two biggest turning points in the season, honestly, I think they both have to do with Nathaniel Romero. So we were at the San Angelo relays and the 4x4. We were trying to get the 4x4 going, and I had Kevin Prieto scheduled to run the 4x4 in the prelims, and he shows up the day that we're about to leave for the meet, and he has a sprained ankle, and he can't run. And so I'm thinking, man, who's going to run now? And I had kind of been putting Nathaniel Romero off because of the screw in his foot, and I thought he was going to have surgery, and so he wouldn't be able to help us at district. And so he was the next guy up, and he was willing to do it, and he ran an outstanding leg, and we did really well in that meet. And so he found himself a spot, on that relay, and he wasn't coming off. And so that was a turning point for the 4x4 in the season, which, was unexpected, and I'm glad it happened. And then the other one was the 4x2 at regionals. We were way out in front in prelims. I mean, we were smoking. I thought, man, I was holding my breath because I thought, well, we're fixing to run a great time, and we're going to maybe have a chance. I knew we were going to make the finals because we were already one of the fastest teams there. But something happened, and between him and Caden Alford, and the baton ended up on the ground, and they picked it up, and we finished the race, but we didn't run, and we didn't even finish last in our heat after. So that tells you how fast we were going. But we ended up not making finals in the 4x2, and so it's hard to say because if we had made the finals in the 4x2, maybe the guys are tired, and we don't make state in the 4x4. I don't know. There's no telling, but both of those turn of events were seem maybe fortunate or disfortunate. I don't know. It just depends on how you look at it, but I look at it as a blessing, and I'm just glad that we have the opportunity to go to state with these guys, and what an opportunity it is. Honestly, God's good. So
all the time.
That's right.
Yeah, he is all the time. So, Coach, what message do you have for the seniors leaving your program?
Well, there's not very many of them, and the ones that we've had this year are new guys. Ty Presley's been here for 2 years. Tyson Smith has been here for 2 years, and Carlos Peraza, Eason Fierro. They're all guys that have only really thrown and done things for us for a couple of years. Really sorry to see him go. Tyson especially, he was a big surprise for us this year, and I was really glad to have him. He scored a bunch of points for us in the shot and the discus.
Yeah.
He threw really well at the end of the season and helped us. We came up short at district. We were a district runner-up. We were area runner-up, and we even, I think in regionals we were like 5th overall. And so he helped us there. And so sad to see him go. And I'm just glad that he did help us this year, though. And the same for those other guys, Ty Presley had major back problems this year and kept him from, really putting in the work that he needed to get over the hump at high jump, and so that kind of hindered him. And then Carlos, he just, he's always great to have around. I enjoy spending time with Carlos.
I'm gonna miss him in football season.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I always liked watching him play a little bit of defensive line.
He's a great guy.
Yeah. Coach, you've got a lot of kids going to state track meet this weekend.
Yes, we do.
And you had a lot of kids going to regionals.
Mm-hmm.
And so, to me, that's a testament a little bit in the leadership from the coaching that they're getting to accomplish that. And so, I appreciate you investing in those young men and putting your time into them and helping guide them to some success. And I'm looking forward to next year sitting down here talking with you and having so many kids in this room that we're going to have to do 2 sections.
That'd be great. I would say that. I hear what you're saying. I want to give credit to the assistant coaches. Coach Lyles, he does a great job with Dylan Payton and hurdles, and we have other guys. Coach Galindo does a great job. Coach Cox, he's got like what I call the throwing factory out there. Whenever they're throwing shot and disc in practice every day, there's a line of kids just lined up waiting to get their next practice throw in every day. And so Coach Cox has made a huge impact in our track program. And so I think it goes to those guys, the success we've had. Number one is a credit to the athletes, and number two is a credit to the assistant coaches and the jobs that they do. I couldn't do any of this without any of those guys.
I understand that.
Yeah.
That's all good stuff, Coach. And we really appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Sit down with us today.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yep, that's great. Next up, we'll sit down with shot putter Tristan Wilson.
Teachers and educators, we want you to be a part of Greenwood ISD. If you join us, we can offer you competitive teacher salaries, a new 4-day work week, paid health insurance, and a fully funded health savings account, stipends for teaching in areas of high need and tested subjects, scholarships and classroom grants available through the Greenwood Education Foundation. So scan the QR code below to apply today and become a Ranger.
So our next guest is kind of an honor for me to have on Ranger Rundown. I've got Tristan Wilson here next to me. Tristan is headed to state in the shot put this next weekend. Tristan, it's great to have you on.
Thank you.
Tristan, you have a very inspiring story. You've gone through a lot through your life, and I tell you, man, it moves me to see you having this kind of success and see the determination that you've shown. And man, and it seems like no matter what happens, every time you see Tristan Wilson, you see that smile, right? That big Tristan Wilson smile. And I just think it's great to have you on here, and I'm really honored to be able to sit down here next to you and talk about this your accomplishment so far. So You ready to get going?
Yes, sir.
All right. So why don't you tell everyone a little bit about the event that you compete in and what's the most challenging aspect for you?
I compete in seated shot put. I'd say the most challenging aspect is probably like being strapped down on the chair
Yeah. Okay.
because I can't really lift up or anything. They call it out or something.
Okay. So so you have to stay seated,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then you're throwing the shot. What's your personal record?
24-5.
24-5.
Yes,
Right. You know, heading into this weekend, have you kind of peeked at anybody else's throws that you're going to be competing against?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you compare with them?
Oh, well, I'm not like too far off of one, but like right now, I probably would have got third. But
Okay. All right. So we're going to need some PRs or something like that when you get out there.
mm-hmm.
Well, you know, I don't doubt that you'd be able to get that done, Tristan. How did you get started throwing shot put?
Coach Burchett came up to me one day. Like I was just standing throwing at first, and he asked me if I wanted to try the chair, and I didn't. I never really thought of it. Then I said yes, and the rest is history.
Rest is history. So was this year, or was it some prior year that you started doing this, or
It was this year.
yeah? So you're just
Hold on. I don't know what we just did, but the fireworks just went off.
all right.
Did
Well-
you see that? I don't know what. It does. It's a weird thing with Mac. Like, put a thumbs up real quick. Hold it there. See, it does stuff like that. I don't know. So I don't know what.
Oh.
I don't know
Oh, so
what
so somebody said something and it made
Somebody
it go.
set it up, but go back to the last question because we had fireworks all over the screen.
All right, so I was off script. So all right, so
You said the rest is history.
oh yeah, okay. So so Tristan, how did you get involved in throwing the shot put?
Well, I did it last year. Wasn't very good at it, and like this year, I wasn't here last semester, so I didn't think I was gonna be really good at it. So like when I started throwing the chair, when I first throw, it was kind of hard to get the hang of it. Then like a few more throws, I got the hang of it.
Yeah, you got the hang
Yes,
of
sir.
it. Really kind of took off from there.
Yes, sir.
And so you started last year, and that was in 8th grade.
Yes, sir.
And was that when was that Coach Burchett? Was he coaching you then?
It was Coach Starnhog.
Okay.
It was 8th grade year.
All right. So you're a freshman. You're going to state. That doesn't happen a lot, right? Especially for picking up the sport just last year, and then everything that you have to deal with. So that's a pretty big accomplishment. How did it feel when you're sitting there and you realize they're calling out measurements, and how does it feel when you realize that you had a mark that was going to get you to state?
Look, at the time, I really didn't feel nothing. I didn't really think of it because I was talking to my mom, and the last kid was throwing, and he was getting pretty close to me. I went by like 2 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I realized I'm going to stay, and I just got all happy. Yeah.
All right. So what are your expectations for this next weekend and even coming seasons? What are going to be your goals going forward?
Going forward, obviously gets first in state
Okay.
and hit more PRs.
All right.
I haven't hit a PR in a while.
Well, going as a freshman means you've got plenty of opportunities to improve on that, and making it there at this age is it's a really big feat. So really excited for you to be able to do that. You ready for some rapid fire fun questions?
Yes, sir.
All right. So just so people can get to know you a little bit better, what's your favorite food?
The state.
State. Favorite subject in school? It can't be lunch, recess, or athletics.
Biology.
Biology. All right. Favorite color?
Blue.
What music do you listen to the most?
I kind of have like a mix between a lot of stuff, like country, rap. Oh, I don't know.
Well, that's a couple of different ends of the spectrum there, unless you're Kane Brown, who kind of puts them together, right? What's your favorite sport to watch and to play?
Football.
Football. All right. And then last question: if you could be any Marvel character, what Marvel character would you be?
The Hulk.
The Hulk. And if you could date any Marvel character, who would you pick?
Black Widow.
Black Widow. All right, all right. Tristan, man, we appreciate you coming in. It was really good to have you. And there's that Tristan smile that I was talking about earlier. You've been kind of hiding it up until that point. So, good luck this weekend. I'm looking forward to see your name on top of that that results list. All right.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Great. It's great to have you in. Next up is our 300 hurdler, Dylan Payton. He's going to talk to us a little bit about what it's like getting to state in the hurdles. Stick with us. Once again, we have Dylan Payton in the studio. All right, Dylan, this is like your third or fourth time on the show. I'm starting to feel like you're kind of gunning for my job here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about the state track meet coming up. And you're one of a handful of individuals from Greenwood that's kind of qualified for state. And so what event are you going to be running at the state track meet?
The 300 hurdles and the 4x4.
300 hurdles and the 4x4 relay, right? Okay. How did you get into running hurdles? Because you're not like you're the tallest guy on the team, but how'd you get into hurdles?
Hey, the coaches just put me in it because they needed another guy. So
Yeah, and you just kind of,
I don't know.
did you fall in love with it, or is it just you're just good at it, so you
I
do
guess
it?
I'm just good. I mean, I didn't really have a preference to do it or not. They just wanted me to, so I started doing it.
Yeah. Well, so I think besides the 800, the 300 hurdles is the hardest race in track, just from, me being around the sport. What do you think makes you so good at it?
Probably, because I'm also in the 4x4, just all the training we do for that probably just helps
Yeah.
for the 300 hurdles.
Yeah. All right. So you've put up a top 50 time in the nation this year. Tell us what you were thinking when you saw that time, when you saw kind of how fast you'd run it.
I was just happy. I said, well, Coach Lyles was there too, so he was congratulating me. I thought it was just, I don't know, didn't really feel any different than any other race, but it was just a good time at that meet. So
Yeah, that was a really good time at that meet. Do you have any pre-race rituals to get, hyped up before you run, or?
not really, just listen to music and
Yeah. Okay. So what kind of music do you listen to when you're getting ready?
a little bit of everything. It depends, 80s or rap or country, just whatever I'm feeling.
Just whatever's comes up next.
Pretty much.
All right. I remember lining up to run some of the races that I was in, and there was always something going through my mind. Before I got before the gun went off. What are some things that you kind of think about? When you're getting in those blocks.
Before the race, I always pray, and then after that, I don't know, I just try and clear my head, just run as fast as I can.
Focus and then run. Take off.
Yes,
Right. All right. Have you looked to see how your time compares with guys that you're going to be running up against this weekend?
I think right now I'm sitting third with my best time, so
Okay.
I have a shot to a podium at least.
Yeah, you made it to the dance. That's all that matters, right? Now you
Yes,
just
sir.
got to grab the girl and go, right? All right. So Dylan, quick question. After you win the finals, the camera comes over to you, and you're looking at the camera. Do you say thanks, Mom, or thanks, Dad?
I'll probably say thanks, Mom.
All right, there you go. Well, just want to make sure you knew where you stood there, Jimmy. Dylan, it's great having you on. You're always fun to come on, and we really hope or wish you the best. At this next track meet, and I really think you got a shot. And I
Yes.
think that you've got the heart to do it and the determination, and I'm looking forward to seeing how you do this weekend.
Thank
So
you.
we wish you the very best.
Yes, sir.
You guys stick with us for the next segment of Ranger Rundown. All right, welcome back. We've got a first going on here at Greenwood Sports Network. We have our first team interview. So sitting down with us, we have our 4x4 relay headed to state. We've got Dylan Payton, Ty Box, Nathaniel Romero, Kason Brooks, and Caden Alford. Guys, how are y'all doing today?
Pretty good.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about, before we get started, what leg do each of you guys run?
I run the first leg.
All right.
I run second.
I got third.
And I run fourth.
I don't know. You're the alternate. All right. So talk us through that final race at the regional meet. A lot of guys, people didn't get to see it, obviously. So, they you guys line up. We hear the gun. Tell us how it goes. And you talk about each leg you run. So how about you start first?
So for me, obviously the first thing I think of is cold. It's windy, rainy, and but I think we had a pretty good understanding of what we needed to do in that race and what place and what time we needed to get. And I think at the end of the day, we just need to run, and we did that. And still not the best we could have done. We could obviously do a lot better, but just getting to state was a big accomplishment for us. But I'm just happy that I get to run with these guys. And
Yeah. How about you, Ty? When you got the baton, what was going through your mind?
When I got the baton, I knew how I had to go because we had watched West Plains before, and we knew their first 2 legs were some of their better legs, and so they were out ahead of us just a little bit. And the whole goal that Coach Birch had told me was to make up some ground on the West Plains guys, just put us in position. That's all that was on my mind as I was coming around that last curve, was just trying to make up some ground.
So when you finished your end of your race, where you guys sitting?
Second.
Second,
Behind
second?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then you hand off to Mr. Brooks, right? And tell us about your leg of the race.
Well, I knew I had to beat the Dumas kid. I had to get out in front of him, at least towards the end, because I knew that their last leg was definitely their fastest guy by far. He's really good. But like Nathaniel said, his goal is misty, something that, kind of affected the race. We could have gotten a much better time.
All right.
I'm glad we did what we did.
All right. So then you come along and hand off to Peyton. Peyton, when you get the baton, what place are you guys in?
I think we were tied for second, or
Okay.
West Plains and us were really close. I just knew that I was pretty sure that Dumas kid was fast, so he was going to be out in front. But we just needed to at least beat West Plains and just get to state, because once we got there, I think we can do really good.
Right. So you guys end up getting second, right? Who got first?
Dumas.
Dumas. So the kid was
He was fast.
he's fast, right? All right. So you guys end up holding off West Plains. You guys get second place and advance to state, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So what is your fastest time on the season as far as a group, and what times do you guys need to put up to place at state?
Our fastest time was 3:21, right? And we need to put up. Our goal is a 3:18 at state.
All right.
Yes, sir. So if we get a 3:18, anything can happen. It's in
That
the
puts
ballgame.
you right there in the middle
It's in
of
the
everybody, right?
Yes, sir.
Who do you think's the favorite going into the race?
Aubrey.
Aubrey. They've got the best time so far.
Yeah, they have a 3:15.6.
Okay, that's pretty fast.
Really nice.
So when you guys go down there, they'll have you'll have a prelim and then finals. Is that
Yes,
right,
sir.
or is it just
Yes,
straight
sir.
finals?
Just only finals.
You just get one race and that's it, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So out of you guys, be serious. Who's the fastest?
Dylan.
No doubt.
No doubt.
No doubt. Dylan's the fastest. All right. If you guys had to pick somebody to take a math test for the group, who would you pick?
Casey.
Casey. All right. Out of you guys, who's the funniest?
Probably one of them too.
It's definitely one of them, too.
Well, okay, you guys decide. You're the alternate. You tell us which one's the funniest.
I don't know. They both got like different kind of funny. Like,
Different styles?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, all right. So we'll let that be a tie. All right. Who's the messiest?
Probably me.
Nathaniel's the messiest. All right. All right. Who's the last person you want to trade spikes with?
Well, we run with no
Six.
socks on.
All right. So definitely,
Yeah.
you guys don't want any of their spikes, right?
No.
Okay. All right. Now we know you guys are fast, right? Who's going to win a mile?
It's probably Dylan.
know.
Maybe Ty.
Yeah,
Ty's
probably
been
Ty,
getting a lot of
yeah.
long distance in.
So we're going to go with Ty on that one?
Probably time.
All right, Ty's going to be your long distance guy who has to run the mile for us, and Casey's going to be the one that has to take all the tests in school, right?
Sir.
All right, guys, it's a big deal making it to state, and I know Greenwood is really proud of all you guys, and looking forward to you going out there and competing, and everyone's going to be checking, whatever social media platform that they go to see, how you guys do, and I just want to wish you guys the best of luck, and we're all super proud of y'all and really excited. For the opportunity for you guys. And the other cool thing is, tell us what grade you're in.
I'm a sophomore.
Junior.
Sophomore.
Sophomore.
That's a lot of youth to make state. I think that's really cool because you guys should be all coming back and have another opportunity. And to make it at such a young age, that's something to be really proud of. So want to make sure I pointed that to everyone that knew that we should expect you guys to be back here talking to me next year about going to state and more than just the 4x4, maybe something else too, all right? Best of luck to you guys. Y'all stick with us. We'll get to the wrap up for Ranger Rundown. All right, that's a wrap for this edition of Ranger Rundown. Be on the lookout in a couple of weeks for the final edition of the Rundown for this school year. For Coach Thomas and myself, we thank you guys for tuning in, being a part of this program, and we look forward to seeing you next time on the Greenwood Sports Network.